Thank you for joining me today. My name's Rachel Earing and we're going to be talking about anxiety, stress, depression and how energy therapy actually helps to combat those things in your life. Mental health is obviously becoming more and more prominent, especially with the royals taking on quite a bit of the coverage of that. So let's look at how your mental health can be improved by an awareness of how the science, the top end of science research and energy therapy is now working together to help people with their mental health. So we have a triangle here, and this triangle should, for today, represent you. And these circles here are all the memories from your life in here, okay? And the more full we become of all of these circles in our life, then the less space we have to fit in the new things that we want to do. And as I mentioned before, the top scientists in the world, people like Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is a top stem cell researcher, he was basically doing research on DNA, discovered that a lot of his findings proved that DNA could actually be changed, and changed through the environment that it's put in. So if that is the case, he then went on to talk to top quantum physicists who were investigating our atoms, okay? And our atoms, of which there are about 50 trillion in each cell, and there are about 50 trillion cells just in our body, okay? They discovered, like this represent an atom, okay, that in our atoms, they have two little things here called quarks, and that's all they could really find in the atoms, these two quarks. And all of this space here around the quarks was just space as far as they were concerned, until they started to investigate a little bit further. Then they discovered that this space actually held the most important information of all. And quantum physics, they're investigating vibrational frequencies. And within each atom, okay, there are thousands and thousands of frequencies going through, basically energy going through each atom, okay? And the sort of highest thing that we can quantify this is that we can understand is this energy travels sort of at the speed of light, okay? So if all this light energy is in our atoms, it then sort of transforms down into alpha, beta, gamma. And so if you follow physics, your microwaves, your radio waves, all those type of waves, okay, go through our atoms. So there's lots and lots of information in there. So if all of these atoms are in all of our cells, throughout all our life, okay, we have all these frequencies going through our body. And again, the law of physics proves that any frequency, any form of energy, never actually disappears, it just transforms into a different form of energy. And these frequencies have a tendency to move up and move down. So what has this got to do with anxiety and stress? Okay, if we are full, okay, because of all our past memories that come up and haunt us when we're trying to go to sleep, what if I'd done that? What if I'd done this? Those type of memories. And they're really quite vivid, okay, then they're coming up because there's something in there that needs dealing with. But we have a tendency to ignore it because we don't really want to go back there and we don't really want to face what actually happened. And that's normal, very, very normal. But what actually happens is, if all these frequencies are running through all our memories and our cells, in all the cells of our body, emotionally and physically, okay, for anything event that has gone through in our life, there might be several frequencies going through just one particular memory. And on those, there may be knots. Okay? So imagine these frequencies now as strings on an instrument. Okay? And these knots, okay, are making the strings on your instrument out of tune. Unless we get rid of these knots and allow them to go away elsewhere, we're not getting rid of the memory, okay? We're getting rid of the emotion that is attached to that memory so that you have space to fit new memories in. So the anxiety and stress that some of you think that you need to hold on to protect you from those old events, because some of them are very scary, and it's human instinct to want to be safe. We hold on to a lot of old memories because we believe that by doing that we're protecting ourselves for future events. Our body will naturally do that for us. Okay? The fight, flight and freeze mechanism is just instantly in there. And we stop ourselves from being able to take on these new things because we're holding on to things that don't serve us anymore from the age of 5 or 15 or 25 or 3 or 30, because we're now at a different stage in our life. So, how do we vibrate these strings to dislodge these old emotions? And this is how energy therapy then begins to work. We start to use the energy therapy, and there's lots of different types, but I'm just going to use EFT as an example right now. You actually see here just now there's a little rainbow on here. So this is an example of the light energy in our cells. So as we are also 70% water, yeah, we have a little rainbows inside our body, which seems ridiculous. But if all of this is light energy mixing with water, okay, then all of this is within our system, which is why people talk about things like chakras and being able to see colours around you, okay, and why you can sense somebody coming into the room when you've got your back to them, because all of this is emitting, yeah, a frequency that will connect here. Even though this is your body, someone else coming into the room will connect with these frequencies that are the same as yours. And you will sense them before you see them, because these frequencies never disappear. Okay? So, going back to this, EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Technique, works on the basis that acupuncture points in our body, we tap on certain points in our body, and this helps to vibrate these strings. And as we vibrate these strings, we then also use a repetitive form of talking to locate back to these memories, which helps to vibrate these away. Once we've vibrated these off our strings, each frequency can then play in tune. Okay? If we are out of tune with ourselves, no matter how hard we try, we cannot play the most beautiful music that we want to with our lives. We cannot move on to the next level that we want to move on at. Does that make sense? So by vibrating these off and using repetitive language, that helps our whole system say, oh, hang on, you're talking to me now in a language I understand. I'll listen to you because you're saying it again. Yeah, on the third time that you're going to say this to me, okay, I'll let that go. Each memory may have different aspects within that, okay, because we will be looking at, over here, things like colours, shapes, smell, taste, because all of that is sensory information that locks into these memories in that 3-minute, 2-minute event of that lifespan of that memory. There's no logic usually attached to that 2 or 3 minute time span. When something major happens in our life, it is a sensory experience. The logic comes in afterwards. That's when we're able to make sense of what has happened. The chaos of those 2 or 3 minutes in our life is completely that horrible look on someone's face, the words that they've used, the noises outside, that car crash, that sound of metal on metal, whatever it is, it's all that smell. All of that is sensory stuff that goes straight into our system, and like I said before, your body, your sensory system, automatically takes that information, stores it, and says, okay, you didn't like that. So next time we have any of these feelings, senses, I will protect you. So how does it protect you from these memories? So if all of these memories are building up throughout your life, one on top of the other, okay, the very first time that memory, that event happened, you will have got a knot on your string. The next time, if this type of memory occurs, it will be different circumstances with different people, because that's how this happens. It'll be changed slightly, okay? So it might be a different knot in a different place, because you'll be avoiding this one, so will your system, but it'll create another knot, and then another knot, and then another knot, until it goes all the way up here, a bit like a musical chart, okay? So we are completely out of tune. Energy therapy, tapping, okay, helps to go back right to the very bottom, take out the table legs of all of these memories, gets to the root cause, so that you're able to play your musical instrument as beautifully as you wish. I hope that makes sense to you. Any questions, please just pop them in, and I'm quite happy to answer them. Give me a call, drop messages, an email, and just get back to me with your thoughts.